How's it going, Giants fans? Welcome to Fireside Giants with your boys, Alex and Anthony. Today, we're discussing Daniel Jones and how he looked against the Houston Texans, kind of how he looked all season. We'll discuss some of his metrics and obviously take a look at some of his passing attempts against Houston in Week 10. The Giants have kind of foolproofed this offense for DJ. It's very much built around giving him time, allowing him to escape the pocket, run out of the pocket, utilize play action to his advantage. I'm very curious to see when they eventually install, if he's the quarterback next year, which I think we're trending in that direction. If the Giants do install a heavy passing attack where he is actually meant to be dropping back in true pass sets, I'm very curious to see how he performs, because right now the Giants are pretty much using bootlegs, play action, rolling him out of the pocket, getting him on the move to manufacture time for him to throw the ball and look downfield. And obviously that's kind of creating a lot less opportunities in the passing game and more so in the short, just kind of running him in short to intermediate passing game. As you saw, kind of Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins got involved a little bit. And obviously Daniel Bellinger played a big role before he went down with the eye injury. But, Daniel Jones has impressed me this year, and not only because of how the offense has allowed him to build upon his strengths, but because he's been very safe with the football. We're going to talk about that briefly. The reduction in turnovers is a major factor, a major variable in him staying here long term. And I think he's done a pretty damn good job of erasing that and alleviating that issue that he faced in the past, Anthony. But before we dive into Daniel Jones, kind of what he's doing up to this point in the season and some of the good stuff he has done, how you do today, my friend?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to dive into the Daniel Jones film. Now, it's been a real night and day difference between last year's Daniel Jones to this year's Daniel Jones. And if you're going as far back as his rookie season, they're not even the same player, because Daniel Jones now is very conservative, but not in a way where he's refusing to make big plays. He's still creating big plays, creating chances as the Giants quarterback, but he's not turning the ball over at the extremely frequent rate that he was turning the ball over from his rookie season all the way to his third year. So we're seeing an emergence from Daniel Jones this year, a real breakout season from him where he's keeping the football clean, he's running the offense, he's comfortable in the offense, he's delivering accurate passes, and he's going through his progressions like a real NFL quarterback. Very proud of the development that he's had and the growth that he's had this season, and he does look like he's here for the long run. This is a really impressive year from Daniel Jones underneath Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka. They've seemingly gotten the most out of him, and maybe they're not done. Maybe once this team gets a little bit more talent on offense, some more receivers for Daniel Jones to throw to potentially next season, we could see him play at an even higher level. But right now, we're seeing the best football of Daniel Jones' career, and it's a big reason why the Giants are 7-2.
It absolutely is. And Daniel Jones has taken a big step forward. Last year finished with just under 2,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions in 11 games. Now, the Daniel Jones we've seen this year has about 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in 9 games with almost a 66% completion rate. That would be the highest in his career up to this point. On the ground, he has 387 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's on pace to break his personal best of 423 rushing yards, which he got back in 2020 by a pretty significant margin. And what I really liked about this coaching staff is they've managed to utilize his legs and, get a lot of production out of him on the ground without risking his health. You know what I mean? A lot of them are very much designed and giving him space to make plays instead of, taking those big hits, diving headfirst and trying to make something happen. The Giants are putting points on the board. He doesn't have to take those big risks anymore. He can slide. He can run out of bounds. He doesn't have to put himself in harm's way. And I think that's a huge part of DJ's success, because ultimately being healthy is the only way to actually develop and grow. Obviously, he did sustain that little ankle injury he suffered as the Giants were kind of utilizing him a lot on those play action. They decided to cut that back a lot, and he hasn't really been running the ball as much since then. More so relying on Saquon Barkley with 35 touches last week. They've been finding other ways to generate production. Obviously, the receivers have not been exactly where we wanted to go or we wanted to be. But I'll tell you what, Darius Slayton has really stood out to me, and I think he's warranting maybe a consideration for an extension after this season based on the way he's playing. So, we're definitely going in that direction, something that we got to discuss in the coming weeks here. But, Daniel Jones, there's 2 main stats that really stand out to me. One, the turnovers. You guys all remember 19 fumbles back in his rookie season in 2018, and then or 2019, and then, that kind of number started to decrease a little bit up to this point in the season. I think he's only fumbled 3 times. I don't think he's lost any of them, or maybe he lost one of them. So that's a pretty solid number. 2 interceptions. One of them came against the Tennessee Titans in week 1. The other one was against Dallas when David Sills slipped. So I'm not really blaming him for that. He's been really, really good in terms of making good decisions. And honestly, every time I see one, I immediately tweet on Twitter This was a good play. This was a smart decision. I think it's nice to point out when he's making good choices, because a lot of people definitely harp on the bad ones, the bad decisions. So I think it's only fair that we look at the good ones as well and give him the credit when it's due. And he has done a pretty good job in that. So, definitely big credit to him. But Anthony, when you're looking at his turnovers right now and seeing how much they've reduced and how they've really gotten him to improve his pocket presence and decision-making overall in big moments, and maybe in the red zone too, which has definitely been a thing that has hurt him in the past. How much more confident do you feel about him going into the future as maybe the quarterback of this team in 2023 and beyond, knowing that his turnover problems have seemingly been alleviated?
Well, of course, that was the number one issue that needed to be solved for Daniel Jones. His biggest problem was his turnover problem. And now that he's kind of alleviated that, I do feel a lot more comfortable with him behind the center. I think when you're looking at the Giants offense and the amount of efficiency that they're playing with right now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Daniel Jones is keeping the ball out of harm's way. So when you are looking ahead to the future and thinking about 2023, I'm trying not to so much because the Giants are 7-2 and deep in the playoff hunt for this season. So I'm really excited about that, and I want to focus primarily on that. But it's kind of hard not to look ahead and say, well, Daniel Jones is playing on the final year of his contract. What's this quarterback situation going to look for the Giants in 2023? And when you're debating whether or not to bring back Daniel Jones, I mean, there is a solid debate to be had, because, again, he's playing the best football of his career with this brand new head coach and offensive coordinator, this regime that the Giants just brought in this year that is definitely the future of this team. I mean, there's just no doubt that Brian Daboll is the right answer for the Giants right now, and I expect him to continue to be that right answer for the next foreseeable future for these many years to come. And it's going to be up to Brian Daboll whether or not he wants to continue with Daniel Jones. Now, if Daboll feels like his offense is limited by Daniel Jones, they might go ahead into that 2023 offseason and try to find a new quarterback. But if he doesn't feel like the offense is limited and he's getting the most out of Daniel Jones and can continue to do that, then we're going to see Daniel Jones back next season, and we're going to see him build upon all of the great things that he's done this year. So this year we're seeing him really reduce that turnover number and play a lot more conservatively and be a lot more calm and poised in the pocket. But next year, again, maybe with some additional receiver talent, maybe that's where the Giants go in the first round of next year's draft, or maybe the second round. Just try and get a marquee receiver for Daniel Jones on the outside. That might be the difference maker. Then you start to get even more out of Daniel Jones and start to really maximize his talent. So I think there's an argument for both sides. Of course, Daniel Jones playing well right now, but is he a difference maker? Is he filling up the stat sheet on a weekly basis? Maybe not. But I think that those who call him a game manager are probably selling him short by doing that, because at the very least, sure, he's managing this games, but he is doing it to a T. He is playing that role to a T, and the Giants are 7-2 because of it. So if you're going about, the argument of I don't want a game manager, well, when you have the best game manager in football who just led your team to a 7-2 start in the season, what's so bad about that? So I like what Daniel Jones is doing this year, man. He's doing a phenomenal job keeping the ball out of harm's way and helping the Giants play winning football. And if he's back next season, I'm expecting more of the same. And especially if they add some more talent to the offense, I'm expecting even greater returns from Daniel Jones.
Absolutely, man. Even so, some people might say he's, game manager, doing kind of the bare minimum, whatever it might be, but he's winning football games and he's playing a big part in that. Again, I'm very, very curious to see how the Giants begin to increase this offense in terms of the passing game. There's a long way to go in the development of this scheme, but I do feel pretty confident that Daniel Jones, he's been very accurate. He almost has a 78 or rather 79% adjusted completion percentage. So if you alleviate like drops and catchable passes that weren't caught, his completion percentage is phenomenal. Like, the Giants have dropped 8 passes in their last 4 games, including I think 2 or 3 in the most recent one against the Houston Texans. So, we're going to take a look at his passing attempts right now. Just buyer beware. There is a nasty Kenny Golladay drop that we are going to see. It's not fun, but I'll tell you what, we're going to take a look at all of his passing attempts, and you're going to see a very, very similar rhythm and trend throughout all of them. And that trend is there are no true passing sets in the entire film. He is rollouts, play action. They're all deception-based plays to get him more time and space to throw the football. So you're going to see that, and it's very interesting to see how the Giants are game planning, but it's working. Is it sustainable? Seems to be sustainable, but up to this point, but eventually they're going to need a more potent passing game, and you can't run Saquon Barkley 35 times. You're going to kill the guy. That's not sustainable. The play action bootleg, maybe you can do a pretty decent amount, but you cannot continue to destroy Saquon Barkley the way that they are in terms of overworking him, because eventually he's going to break. Any player would. Nobody can sustain that type of workload, in my opinion. So, this isn't just a Saquon thing. This is a general player thing. But let's take a look at the film and exactly what Daniel Jones put on the tape for Week 10. All right, so let's jump into it here. Again, little play action, RPO. Bam, Wan'Dale Robinson. Again, they do not do enough to get him the football. They should be running this play like 2 or 3 times a game. Look how open he is. No one can cover this. You cannot cover this play. Little speed out right there, right off the line of scrimmage almost. And how are you going to cover him? It's basically impossible in this little RPO. And ultimately, in my opinion, they should be doing so much more of this. They could easily get the ball to him 2 to 3 times a game and just manufacture 5-6 yards every single time. They don't do that, and I don't really get it. Maybe they're just saving that for later in the season. They don't want to give away all their tricks. I don't know, but I feel like you want to win games now too. Anthony, when you're looking at this clip immediately, of course, a lot of these are high percentage throws. Daniel Jones should be making all of these, but scheming players open is what makes good offenses look great. And ultimately, this is easy yards. And Wan'Dale Robinson should be utilized a lot more in this facet, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I love this play design. As you mentioned, it's a great way to scheme someone wide open. I believe it's the same play design that yielded a Wan'Dale Robinson receiving touchdown a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same play. Of course, you just have Daniel Jones rolling to his left, which it seems like he prefers to roll to his left sometimes. He does a great job rolling to his offside rather than his strong side with his right hand. He likes to roll to the left and throw a lot of these bootleg passes on that left side of the field. He's done a really great job with that in this play. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I want to see more reps, more touches for Wan'Dale Robinson, but they got to be plays just like this, where you kind of create almost like a pick play for him and you get him wide open in the flats. This is where Wan'Dale Robinson's dangerous. He can catch this ball, and on any given play, he can turn this into a big gain. So I love this play design. Again, I can't say enough about how great of a job Brian Dable and Mike Kafka have done with this offensive scheme. And here you're just seeing easy play and easy execution from Daniel Jones.
Yep, and look at the pass rusher over Andrew Thomas right now. Look what the RPO does to him. This is why you do things like this. This is why you modernize your offense. Watch how much he freezes this pass rusher, right? So this little RPO to Saquon Barkley, play action right there, and then you have the guy coming across the line of scrimmage as well. Watch this right defensive edge rusher. Watch how frozen he is. He is standing there, right? Daniel Jones has the football. If he rushes Daniel Jones immediately, this might be a sack. He might not be able to get this off, but all of this movement in the backfield just curates so much confusion. He cannot figure out where this ball is until it's way too late. This is just another facet of why this scheme is so much better than Jason Garrett's. Like, it's night and day, essentially. But you love to see that nice little easy completion, no risk there at all. And now you're going to see here, play action, Saquon Barkley, bam, little easy completion, high completion percentage type of throw. You're seeing, again, they're manufacturing yards here really, really easily. This is what the Giants have done all season long. Another play action, a little crosser to Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton, as we've said, has become a very nice piece to this offense. And, the play action soaks in all of those linebackers. And when you have Saquon Barkley there, you see the value he has, and the easy crosser right below. They have 3 defenders playing high. And you have Darius Slayton just, bam, I don't even know what the safety's doing dropping back, just maybe trying to help his corner out. But Darius Slayton has so much room to run. And I also love this second effort by Slayton. Definitely worthwhile to mention. He could easily have just walked out of bounds right now. Watch where he ends up. He ends up almost at the 5-yard line. I mean, Anthony, when you're looking at Darius Slayton there, just that effort alone, that says a lot more than what we've seen from Kenny Golladay in the most recent past.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been complaining endlessly about the lack of effort from Kenny Golladay, but I don't even want to make that comparison just because I want to highlight Darius Slayton's great work on its own. It doesn't need to be compared to this washed up bum Kenny Golladay, right? I mean, he's playing terrible football. He's doing absolutely nothing to benefit the Giants, but Darius Slayton is a player who the Giants didn't seem to believe in early on the season. He was buried on the depth chart. He was WR, 6 or 7, and injuries later, all these different types of trades and injuries have led Darius Slayton to re-entering the lineup and re-emerging as Daniel Jones's top target. And you can't say enough about Darius Slayton and the job that he's done so far this season. He was very quiet when he was benched. He never complained. He was never vocally frustrated. He just went out there and proved that he deserved playing time, and now he's earned it. And look at that extra effort there, just to fall forward and gain extra yardage. That's what you love to see. That's what you want to see from a receiver who's trying to prove himself, who's hungry, hungry. And Darius Slayton is exactly that. He's hungry to prove himself. You mentioned it. Maybe he's earning his way into a contract extension here. I think that he is. The chemistry that he has with Daniel Jones is premium. You don't want to disrupt that at all. They've always had great chemistry since their combined rookie season, and just continuing to build on that is only doing great things for Daniel Jones. It's only helping him thrive and maximize his talents. So Darius Slayton, can't say enough good things about him and the work that he's done this season.
That's absolutely true. And let's take a look here. Another play action, little rollout to the left side, easy. This is a touchdown to Lawrence Cager. I mean, scheme again, really good scheme. This is so easy. Little drag right across the line of scrimmage, wide open, speed. Lawrence Cager transition wide receiver to tight end, has good hands, good speed. Easy touchdown for the Giants here. Again, they are getting production, my friends. They are getting production out of people that they're plucking off practice squads right now. They're getting more production out of those guys than the Kenny Gallaudays on the team, right? Isaiah Hodgins has 41 receiving yards. He's played in one game. Honestly, he's played in half of a game for the Giants. Kenny Galladay has 22 yards on the season, right? The Giants are getting production out of practice squad players that are helping them win games. If you want to talk about good coaching, that is where you want to look first. Let's go on here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very clear and obvious that you have a lot of Kenny Galladay frustrations. So I'm very afraid for when that drop comes up on this film, because I don't even want to know how angry you're going to become.
It's coming up in a couple seconds.
Very soon.
Nice job by DJ. Watch DJ moving up into the pocket a little bit, though. This is something that we haven't seen in the past. Also, if you really want to watch highlights, just watch Andrew Thomas every time we run these clips. Every freaking play, he's just elite. I mean, look at him.
Thomas just deletes pass rushers.
Are you kidding?
It's the most impressive thing ever.
He's on an island with 5 yards of space on either side of him. I mean, come on now. This guy's an absolute monster. Daniel Jones does a good job maneuvering up into the pocket, getting himself in a good spot. Nice little read there. Nice little slot right between the defenders. Good throw.
Yeah, that throw, I have to say, had an incredible amount of anticipation. Anticipatory throws are what makes an NFL quarterback take their game to a next level, and having this level of anticipation on this throw says a lot about where Daniel Jones is now compared to where he was last year. Because if you pause it right there, this guy is not open. This receiver is not open at all. Daniel Jones throws him open. He anticipates that he's going to be open within the next second, and he throws the ball to the open spot, and the receiver manages to get there. It's a very tight window, and again, it takes a lot of anticipation to deliver that throw, and anticipatory passes were something that Daniel Jones has historically struggled with. So seeing him make a play like this routinely, stepping up into the pocket and delivering this throw on time with pressure in his face, this shows a lot of growth out of Daniel Jones. This is an excellent throw. Now, of course, you could say some of those premier guys in the league make these throws routinely. Well, Daniel Jones is starting to make these passes routinely. We used to see him make these here and there in the past couple seasons, but these are starting to become routine passes that he makes in the first and second quarter, and so on and so forth throughout the game. So there's a lot of development being shown by Daniel Jones on this film right now, and this is definitely one of his more impressive throws from Sunday's game. Yeah,
I mean, you could look at two things here. Like, I like this throw. This is fine. I'll take this every single day. Maybe you could have had Wan'Dale Robinson over the top on this deep post. Maybe you could have had, it's actually Kenny Galladay running that's like go route down the middle of the field. He seems to be open a little bit. He elects to go for the shorter option there, which is fine. Get the first down, get some yards. Don't take a risk unnecessarily. But he could have made a more difficult throw, maybe. Just a matter of preference.
I'm going to personally disagree on that, because I know that the Kenny Galladay pass was to be a clear out for Wan'Dale Robinson on that, on that crosser. And then that crosser with the pressure in your face like that, it's like impossible to get that onto the sideline accurately, because that thing's going to hang up in there. And then that cornerback is going to have all day to get underneath it. So I think that Daniel Jones made the sound decision here, stepping up in the pocket, knowing that he was about to get hit, and anticipating that this guy was going to break open. Now, if he doesn't break open, we might be having a different conversation. But again, delivering it on time with accuracy, with anticipation, that's what creates this play here. And I think this was the right read, and just a really impressive throw from Daniel Jones.
Yeah, it's the most probable completion, which is what I would say. And I think that's the way you probably want to go. If you have an easy throw that's going to get you a first down, probably want to take that. So I think, yeah, you're right. He did a good job nailing him there and getting that little first down. Nice little quick out. Bam. Darius Slayton back in action. Little shotgun. That was one of the only true pass sets. And of course, the only true pass that he has is a drop to Mr. Kenny Galladay. And let's watch this one more time so we can really get ourselves pissed off. What do you say, guys? God help me. I mean, my freaking grandma in a wheelchair could catch that. Unbelievable. My grandma with like no
I mean,
thumbs could catch that.
so what I will say though, positively from this play, I know it's kind of hard to draw positive from this
Good
play. It
pocket.
is an excellent play design. Yeah, it was a good pocket, but it's an excellent play design
It
from
is.
Brian Dable and Mike Kafka. I mean, just this clear out here, as you see the slot receiver clear out Kenny Galladay's cornerback, the man in coverage against Kenny Galladay. He gets completely tied up here going across the middle of the field, and Galladay is just wide open because of that. So I love this play design. Again, you have two vertical receivers on the outside, and then they're going to clear out that whole underneath portion of the field for Kenny Galladay to catch and run if he makes the catch. So there's a lot of room to run here. Again, you had Kenny Galladay one-on-one man coverage. You break that up with another crossing route coming over top. So again, a really, really solid play design. And if Daniel Jones stood in that pocket a little bit longer, and, if Kenny Galladay, if he didn't trust Kenny Galladay and wanted to wait for that tight end breaking over on the opposite crossing route, he might have been able to deliver that pass downfield there too.
Yeah, and another little thing I want to point out here, well, two things. Tyree Phillips gets destroyed at right tackle, but watch the pass blocking from Saquon Barkley. That's definitely something he struggled with in the past. Watch how well he does here with this. Bam. Really nice job there. I mean, that's perfection. And he gives Daniel Jones that extra second to deliver this pass. I mean, in the future, with a guy that actually has hands, this is a really nice gain, and that's because Saquon Barkley blocks his man and does a really great job keeping him off of DJ. So, big kudos to Saquon Barkley for taking on that assignment and doing a good job with it. Let's see here. Bam. Nice little completion. This is a nice job from DJ. Finding the open man. Couple of stick routes on this. Couple of just, sitting down in the middle of the field. We saw these concepts a lot from Jason Garrett. You got two options here. Finds himself a nice little open receiver. Good job. Take a couple yards.
Yeah, that was a really solid throw there. A lot of power on that one to fit it into that window. And this is one of my favorite throws from the day. So I saw this on Twitter and I was just so impressed with this one. This is about going through your progressions here. And that's what I was talking about earlier with Daniel Jones and just the progress that he's made. Again, so you're going to see him look and pump fake. He wanted to make the initial pass. I think that wasn't really a pump fake so much as it was him stopping himself from throwing an interception, which in the past you didn't see. Daniel Jones in the past was just going to rifle that thing to the cornerback, and the cornerback was taking that home, right? So what you're seeing here is Daniel Jones recognizing, okay, I thought the coverage was one thing. It changed. That receiver that I thought was open in the initial coverage is not open. So that means this guy has to be open based on the change of coverage. Gets back to the second progression. Guy sitting wide open in the middle of the field, and he makes an accurate throw. So again, just really, really smart football here. Intelligent way to keep the ball clean, out of harm's way, but really just going through these progressions and being able to read this defense pre-snap, maybe make a mistake, but adjust post-snap to deliver the right throw. That is a lot of growth from Daniel Jones. And again, that is one of my favorite plays from Sunday. That was a really, really nice throw from Daniel Jones. And again, just a lot of mental makeup there to deliver that pass.
Absolutely. And I like how he gives himself a little bit of time on some of these passing attempts as well. Like you'll see he's in the pocket here, little shotgun. Saquon Barkley looks to be open, but he's already rolling out to his right side, trying to buy himself a little bit more time, get his guy downfield, pick a couple yards here, 4 or 5 yards. No reason to take unnecessary risks if you don't have to. So definitely good job on that end. This is one of my favorite throws from DJ in this entire game. As you can see here, this is Darius Slayton's 54-yard touchdown catch. Daniel Jones makes this throw with two defenders in his face off his back foot. This could easily be a pick six in a different scenario, but watch, he has his eyes up, looking downfield. He's looking at Darius Slayton, and he knows that this defensive back is going to be taking him, is being taken upfield by, not sure who that is, maybe Isaiah Hodgins, I think it's Isaiah Hodgins. So he throws it off his back foot. Darius Slayton makes something out of nothing. And another reason why he should be considered for a contract extension. So big kudos to Darius Slayton for that effort right there. But this doesn't happen without Daniel Jones taking a risk here. And ultimately, good quarterbacks take high probable risks. And he does a really good job of getting this ball into the right place and giving his receiver a chance. And this was the difference in the game. This is a momentum shifter, and Daniel Jones got the job done. So, this is what you want to see from your quarterback. This is what gives us the hope and optimism that he can be a future asset for this team and not a liability.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, we were talking about some plays that some of those, top tier quarterbacks make routinely. And again, you're seeing Daniel Jones start to make these plays routinely. This is one of them where Daniel Jones is pressured, has two rushers free coming, about to pressure him, and he throws off his back foot and delivers a solid pass here. I will say again, great play design. You see how this gets cleared out into the flat by the play design. You have a receiver on a clear out crossing route, which makes it even more difficult for that safety to come down onto the receiver and defend him in the flats. But Daniel Jones holding strong in the pocket and delivering an accurate throw here. Super, super impressive. Again, we've seen him in the past really struggle in pressured situations and not be able to deliver the ball on time or accurately with a lot of pressure in his face. But right here, off his back foot, delivers it, and Darius Slayton, all that effort, all that speed down the sideline. What an awesome play there. And again, as you mentioned, the momentum shifter and a game-changing play from Jones and Slayton.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is good stuff. This is just good stuff from Daniel Jones. Clean football, not taking unnecessary risks. You love to see this. Little play action, bootleg, bam, easy. Lawrence Cager, a couple yards, easy manufacturing of production. See here, another play action, bam, Wan'Dale Robinson, a couple yards, easy completion, high probable throws, drops back in the pocket, misses Slayton there. That was probably his only bad pass of the day. He was 13 for 17 with that stat line is ridiculous. 13 for 17 for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. 13 completions for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's freaking crazy. That's pretty damn impressive if I don't say so myself. So Daniel Jones was pretty accurate. That was the one throw he probably wishes he had back, but otherwise he was really, really clean. Good job maneuvering up in the pocket. Great little intermediate dig route there from Hodgins. And this is just good stuff. They replaced Kenny Golladay at halftime, and Hodgins made an immediate impact. So you love to see that. I love how just really good stuff from him. Like moving up into the pocket was really nice. Big fan of these type of throws. They did a really good job scheming receivers open.
Yeah, look at how often we're seeing Daniel Jones throw to wide open receivers, whether it's Kenny Golladay and he drops it or it's Darius Slayton, he catches it. There's always an open receiver for the New York Giants to find, for Daniel Jones to find here in this new New York Giants offense. And I think that is something that was missing in previous years. We know how frequently Jason Garrett would ask Daniel Jones to throw into traffic, how frequently we would ask him to make contested catches out of his receivers. But now you're just seeing wide open receivers running down the middle of the field. And Daniel Jones, it's just easy pitch and catch here. You just read the field, see what the coverage is, know who's going to be open, and you make an easy throw for a big gain. This is stuff that Daniel Jones, this is a luxury he hasn't had until this season. So yeah, you're seeing a much better version of Daniel Jones. You're seeing him have a career year, but you really just can't say enough about the coaching staff and the way that they've schemed this together for Daniel Jones to make his life easier and put him in position to find these open receivers and succeed at the highest level that he has ever in his career.
Absolutely. But guys, I'd love to hear your perspectives below on this game, on Daniel Jones up to this point in the season. Always happy to hear your perspectives below in the YouTube comments. Make sure to like, subscribe as always, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.
TVSO.